Welcome to Inside Builder channel. Introducing Void Editor and Ollama tunneling, making open source IDEs accessible. Before we dive in, let's ask what is Void. It's an open source alternative to Cursor. It's under early stage development, has many features already built and many more features already in pipeline. Importantly, it can detect Ollama Server directly just by giving the IP address and the port. This is the quintessential introduction to Void. In this video, we are going to see a couple of things. We are going to get an overview about Void. We will understand how to get access to Void, how to contribute, and how to connect with Void Discord server. And in parallel, we will also try to understand how to connect Ollama Server to Void. In fact, it's a pretty straightforward process, but if your Ollama Server is not on the same local machine, then it could be a challenge. So that's what we will be trying to address. I had been talking about tunneling in the earlier page. The tunneling is a concept of approaching or accessing an application that is inside a different machine. These applications are usually running on a port, and if that particular port and the IP address is not directly accessible, then we can use tunneling. This is a very basic introduction or the purpose of tunneling that I'm talking about. This is not the official definition. In our case, the challenge will be explained in a couple of minutes, but before that, we will try to look at how Void looks. So Void looks pretty similar to Cursor, VS Code, or any other IDEs that you have been using. It's a simple IDE. It has got its own explorer. It has got its own way to connect and open folders, right? And the most important thing about Void is that it is still under development, as I already told, and it has the same kind of interface, chat interface, that you see in Cursor or Windsurf IDEs. And if I go ahead and type here, you can see that I already have DeepSeek R1 14 billion connected to it. And if I ask, give me Fibonacci series, and it will start thinking and it will start providing me the Fibonacci series. This particular interaction that I'm having right now is completely localized to my machine and to my GPU machine that is having the Ollama server. So it is actually giving me the formula, it is giving me the explanation, and finally it is giving me the code, etc. You can see that it is doing all its best to get the output that we want, right? And all of these things are happening locally. The benefit of this, how this is happening and how to configure Ollama, I'll be showing it in just 2 minutes. So apart from that, you can actually click on this. It will show you the history of various questions that you asked. And if you want to open a new session, you can actually create a new chat also. And here is the Void settings that you can change. Here is the sidebar close. You can also access Void settings over here. If you click on this gear icon, you go to Void settings here, and you'll be seeing Void settings right here. Prominently, the local provider is Ollama. And one thing you'll be surprised to look at is this 7500 port. That is because I have 2 servers running. One of the Ollama server is running on 11434. So this is one of the server. And if I now look at the chat window, you will see that once I have changed it to 11434, I see only Llama 3.21 billion model. But if I change it to 7500 port, and give it a second, you will see that I'll be having 4 models. So these 4 models and this 7500 port is actually tunneling to my GPU server. I'll be discussing how that works in a couple of seconds. The reason why I used the DeepSeek R1 model latest is that it is actually in my GPU machine and the output is pretty fast. If I am going to use the 11434, which is going to be on my local laptop on which this Void editor is running, it will be way more slower. So, and also the model is very small. You can see that it's a 1 billion model. So it's not worth it. You guys already know that it will be slow. The point I want to make here is that you can connect to any number of Ollama servers that you wish to. So as I told you, you can have locally, you can have it on your local LAN, you can get it on your Raspberry Pi, and you can connect it over that also. No one is going to stop you. But the question here is that how to connect the Ollama server that is running on another server. So for that, there is a pretty informative link given by the Ollama team itself. The link will be shared with you guys, and also the link can be seen here. You can see the link here also. I'll be sharing you the complete link in the description too. The problem that I faced when I used the instruction in this link is sometimes it doesn't work. So if I go to the link here, it actually tells that we can change the environmental variable, the Ollama host environmental variable, to 0.0.0.0 and make the Ollama server to run on all the IP addresses. If you are not from the networking background, if you are not from the computer science background, you don't need to worry about all of this stuff. Okay, the most important thing is that if you make this modification and if you are unable to get this to work, if your Ollama server is not still detecting on the void editor, the best thing to do is to actually use something called as tunneling. In order to tunnel to the server, what happens is you need to use this particular command here. Now, this command is going to create its own Pandora's box of challenges. I agree to that. I am, giving you a heads up about the challenges because once you know to handle these kinds of challenges, then AI power will be in your hand. Because you can see that here you have almost 4 models. That is the 4 models that I have downloaded and kept it. But if I want, I can download any number of models on my GPU and I can start using it. So you have all the models and all the power of those models right on your laptop. This laptop that I'm using is a pretty old laptop. It's an i3 processor with very minimal amount of RAM and HDD hard disk. So it's pretty slow. But I can actually get all the power of the models by connecting to a GPU machine, which is located on my LAN, but I'm not connecting to it to make this video. So that is the power of working with the tunneling process. So the tunneling process involves using SSH. So you need to be able to connect to the server that I'm talking about through SSH. That SSH configuration has to be enabled. There are lots of videos that discuss about enabling these things, and if you own a GPU server or if you even own a Raspberry Pi, getting the SSH up and running is pretty simple. Next, the 7500 is the local port on which you want to connect to the server. So this is the local port on which you want to connect. So that is what you see here, right? That is what you see here. And next, what you see here, 127.0.0.1 and 11434, this is the actual configuration of the server. So Ollama server is configured to run on this address, 127.0.0.1 11434 port. So it is configured. So you need to just give that particular address here, and then you need to give the username of that server, the GPU server that I'm talking about, or the Ollama server, and the server name itself. So username at the server name or username at the IP address of the server. So either of these things will work. And once you do that, you'll be able to connect to the server. So let me do an exit right now. And right now I am on my local machine. So this Fedora is my local machine, right? And if I do a Ollama list, you will see that I have 3.21 billion model. And if I use this command and if I connect to the GPU, then if you see that I'll be able to Ollama list, I'll be able to get 4 different models, and that is because this GPU has already Ollama server running and it is having 4 models already pulled and ready for inferences. So that is one of the benefits of having the Ollama server running on any of your other machines, that is much more powerful and capable of storing a lot more models, and then using that model on the machine that is much more easier to carry around and manage your activities and work in a streamlined fashion. So all these things are possible, and all you need to do is use this particular command here. The tunneling process and the background information about tunneling, the encapsulation, how the networking works, that's all not important for us right now. And if you are really curious about it, you will actually get access to Ollama, and you will have the access to the actual models, and you can start asking how the tunneling works, and the models will be able to help you out. So for an example, after you get access to the tunnels, after you get access to the model, you can ask how, now explain me how tunneling works in computers and networks. So all you need to do is that, and the model will be kind enough to give you all the necessary information. I urge you guys to start using the AI based IDEs. The reason behind is that the more you start learning fast and start implementing your ideas at a high speed, the better you will get the confidence of starting to bring your imaginations to reality. So this is one of the main reason why I am making these videos, and I am sharing with you guys. So I believe that in this video we had a basic introduction about Void and how we can actually use Void also. We saw the various features that is already available in Void. Before you start using Void, it is always better to create a repo and clone it, create a folder inside the repo, and then open folder in Void. So this is the steps that I've shown here. And if you see, in my case, I already opened. If you go to open folder, and I can actually select the folder and I can open it. So into the Void, and demo Void is the folder that I'm using. So like this, I can actually open a folder, and the into the Void repo link will be also shared with you guys. Right, and we need to update the Void settings to connect to Ollama. We saw how to do it using the gear icon, and then we saw how you can do this inferencing process. Apart from that, we discussed how to use tunneling in if the Ollama server configuration doesn't work, and get the Ollama models hosted to work for you. So I believe that this video was helpful, and do leave a like, share it with others, and do subscribe to my channel for further updates on similar kind of videos. So with that said, I would like to leave this video with 4 words, that is practice, practice, explore, explore. See you guys. Have a great time.